Going on, soldiers? All my warriors and kings. How y'all feeling today? My blue collar, bad knuckle soldiers. My hard working men and band dogs and workers. How y'all feeling today? I want to take the time to salute y'all. Today, the conversation in the order of business is about never avoiding the tough conversations, not shying away from those tough conversations, the conversations that it's necessary, it's mandatory to be had. Those conversations that takes you from one place or one place to another, take you from one space to another. Those conversations that are oftentimes uncomfortable in the beginning, but almost certainly gets a load off of your back. Those conversations that let individuals around you know who you are, what you stand for, what you won't stand for, what you cannot stand for, what you refuse to stand for. Those conversations allow individuals to see who you are in terms of how you want to be dealt with, how you want to be handled, and to quite frankly explain to those individuals the fact that you don't want to be handled. And if so, this is the manner in which you're going to do it. Those tough conversations that sometimes is a little hard for others than they are they're harder for some than they are for others. And nevertheless, those conversations, like again, that needs to be had. It's mandatory to have them. It's imperative. It's of great, and sometimes they have a great and grave importance for you to have those conversations. Without further ado, let's just give some examples. For instance, you on a job. You bust your ass daily. Not only are you on time, but you're early. Sometimes you're the last to leave. You're giving them, you truly feel as if you're giving them your best. You do everything that you need to do in order to be recognized in that job, and for whatever reason, you still aren't recognized. A lot of the times, that's because you're soft. As a man, you shouldn't be soft at all, by any stretch of the imagination. You should be relentless in the pursuit of the things that you actually want. And if on that job you feel as if a position of power is what you want, whether it's what you want or not, just more money sometimes, it may not be a position of power. Though I'd argue you should always strive to put yourself in a position of power. It may not be what you want in terms of putting yourself in a position of power. But the biggest thing is getting something that you truly feel as if is true compensation for the work that you put in, for the things that you give, for the blood, sweat, and tears that you supply in that job on a daily. And it starts with what? You having the nerve to go in and communicate with your bosses. Communicating with your bosses, having that tough conversation with your bosses. And the way you do it, you don't go in there with just this ego, crazed, maniac type of attitude. That's not what you go in with. You go in with a thought process of, one, take the time to write down the things that you feel as if you do. The things that you actually do, your actual job, the things that you do and how well you do your job. Once you write those things down, those things that shouldn't even be seen as something that you should be compensated for outside of your normal conversation. Why? Because that's your job. That's what you're required to do. But then you decide to write down those things that not only do you do for your job, but within your position. The things you do outside of your job and outside of your position that makes you a better person for your job, that ultimately makes your job a lot better. It benefits and how it benefits the company and things of that nature. You make sure that when you're having that tough conversation that you add that in there, that you're bold enough to have that and add those things in there. You let them know exactly who you are and what you are to the company, how beneficial you are to the company. You can't just go in asking for something you ain't really putting in the work. Can't just get it just because you feel like you deserve. No. You got to let them, you got to remind those individuals, you have to remind those bosses of why you deserve. Show them your worth. Explain to them and show them who you are, not just for the company, but the other individuals, the other employees, your fellow employees within the company, how you benefit them, how you help them, how you take them to the next level, how you make the company better ultimately. And then this is why I deserve what I'm asking for. Come up with a reasonable number. Do some research on your job title, your position, and things of that nature, and the average pricing or how much they get paid. It's nothing but a Google search, I guarantee you. Then of course they're going to show you ones across the board, what they make in Maryland, what they make in Virginia, what they make in DC, what they across the board. They're going to show you. They're going to show you the average, the national average. And then you sit down and you have that tough conversation with a family member. A family member that's a little overbearing. Might be your mother, might be your mother-in-law, whomever it may be. Maybe your father, maybe your father-in-law, aunt, uncle, grandmother, whomever it is. A little overbearing, and they don't know that they're stepping over the lines. But you have to respect yourself enough to set boundaries. But outside of you setting boundaries, it's more so about, for yourself and for your self-respect, it's more so about just having that tough conversation with them. Sometimes it takes more than just one or two conversations. Sometimes you have to constantly remind individuals of who you are. But you also got to take into account, like, if you got to constantly remind individuals, it's something that you ain't doing right. It's something that you're not doing right. It's something that you're not doing right. You're not challenging yourself and or them individuals on a regular basis to truly see you for who you are, to truly see your light. And that's your fault. Have those tough conversations. Explain to your individual family members, what it is you expect from them. Be clean and clear and decisive on what it is you want for them and from them and for them. Be clean and clear. Be decisive. Be stern. Speak with conviction. Let them know the things that they're doing oftentimes could make you feel a little uncomfortable. Let them know if it doesn't sit well with you. Let them know if the things that they're doing, how it affects you, the impact that it has, how it affects you, especially if it's something that affects you negatively. Even if it's something that you feel as if it's doing you a great service. You may have individuals that for whatever reason, they're so overbearing, they want to do everything for you. They want to take over. You may have family members that love you that much. They want to do everything for you because they feel as if they're doing you a great service. But at the end of the day, you truly need to let them know that sometimes it's not that you're doing, that I don't like you doing for me. I just want you to do for me when I ask you to do for me, not just because you just want to take everything on yourself. Because in the end, that doesn't do anything to truly benefit me. It's only momentary triumph. It doesn't do anything to truly benefit me in the long run. So in all actuality, what you're truly doing is crippling me. You're crippling me. You're stifling my progression, my growth by constantly doing that. Sometimes those are the tough conversations that need to be had. Those tough conversations may be your wife. Having those tough conversations with your wife, going to her, asking your wife, what is it that I need to do? What is it that you feel as if I need to do to be better for our family, for our relationship? How can I make this thing better? And then be realistic with some of the things that you want. Okay, if in order for me to get this, and it has to be a barter. That's what a relationship is. It's a give and take thing. I don't care how anybody chooses to categorize. It's a give and take thing. And if it's not, then something ain't right. She's a partner. Partners share. You go to your wife and you ask her, what is it that you can do to make this thing, to make your families better, to make your relationship better? But then you lay out a decisive thing, a plan of attack on how you can go about doing that thing. And not only that, what it is that you require. What it is that you require from her. Having those tough conversations. It's imperative and it's important. And sometimes it's not even that serious. Sometimes your relationship may not even be that rocky that you need to have that conversation. Y'all may have all of that under control. Y'all may see eye to eye. So then the tough conversation may come about when y'all get ready to go out and your wife asks you, do this dress make me look fat? Instead of you sitting there knowing in your mind that you really aren't attracted to that dress at all, or yeah, it does make you look fat, you say, no, baby, it's fine. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you to go to your wife and say, yeah, you look like a fat fucking mess in that damn dress. That's not what I'm saying by any stretch of the imagination. It's having those tough conversations. It's having the nerve to tell your wife, like, listen, baby, won't you go about it in this manner. Listen, sweetheart, like, I don't really like the dress. It ain't really doing it for me. But you know which one I do think you should put on? You should put on that red one that you wore, that red one that you put on when we went to, out for dinner, that one. Yeah, and you know what happened after that. Yeah, you know what happened after that. When you wore that dress, oh my God, you know what happened after that. Put that on with them new shoes, I got you. You're going to kill them in that. They compliment you. I love the way you looking, man. You know what that color do for me. That's how you finesse that situation. And then, see, what you did in that situation, you didn't necessarily lie to her. You explained to her that it wasn't really appealing. The dress wasn't really appealing. It's not doing it for you. You let her know that without being ignorant or belittling or degrading her in any stretch of the imagination. But you also let her know it doesn't compliment her. So that lets her know that the question that she asks ultimately, if she had to ask, she already know the way she looks in that dress. Let's be clear. She already know the way that she looks in that dress. She just want confirmation. You don't give her the benefit of giving that absolute negative confirmation, but in the same sense, you can still break it down to her that no, white wife, no lady, no baby, it do not compliment you. This dress here, and then give her other options. This dress here, and then give her confirmation on how you feel about her. Because you remember when you wore that other dress, you know how you know what happened that night. Yeah, that's just a low, lessen that load a little bit on her. She know exactly what you're saying. She know that you're telling her that dress does not look good. And actually, your question or answer to that question rather is yes, it does make you look fat. But you also offer the solution. Put on this dress. And then you go to her on a later date. And you understand it with full understanding that she obviously is for whatever reason she may be getting older, so she's feeling like she has a problem with her weight. Then you offer another solution. Baby, well, let's go, take a few classes, kickboxing classes, boxing classes, fitness classes. Let's go do a little bit of walking together, a little bit of jogging. So now you're giving an activity of something that is not only a goal set for her, but it's also a goal for you all. So then it becomes a goal for the both. Becomes a goal for the both of y'all to acquire. That y'all can do together. That becomes uplifting. So not only did you let her know in a more subtle manner that that dress wasn't appealing and no, you didn't look good in it, but then you're giving her other options, other gateways on how to get to where she actually want to be. She's looking for that confirmation and that affirmation. She wants that. And she also that confidence, but she also wants the support. Those tough conversations will get you there. You have different brothers that you deal with on a regular basis. You see them doing something. You may have a brother or cousin or family member around you that is a piece of shit towards kids. You see he a piece of shit towards kids, and you know he is. But you don't say nothing. One of the models is you gotta let a man be who they is in this world. Not necessarily, especially if it's somebody that you care about. Why not let them know? And yes, quite oftentimes, those tough conversations, people are going to become offensive. Even get angry with you. Might even yell. Keep your composure. Let them know what it is. Be clean, clear, and decisive on your approach and the topic of conversation on how you deliver it. But you got to get that delivery across. You have to get your point across. Again, it's mandatory. The individual that you truly care about, why would you allow them to stay in a certain state that you know isn't conducive to their well-being or the well-being of the individuals that they're in charge of? A brother should never see it, should never sit and watch as he has a brother that he claims that he cares about and he's not taking care of his kids, not being honorable, not in his kid's life, not raising his kids, not doing right by his kids. I don't care what the situation may be with his baby mother. And trust me, it get ugly. But regardless of that, you have a duty and a responsibility to the kids. It has absolutely nothing to do with the baby mother. And if it is her as a hurdle in your way, then you need to take the necessary steps in order for you to do what you need to do for your kids, regardless of what that may be. And that's not, taking it by force. Because you get somebody listening, they might feel as if he said, regardless of what it is, and you go out and beat your baby mother ass or some crazy no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if it takes for you to go to court and take her to court to get parental rights and things of that nature, then go make those necessary steps in order for you to be a greater father, to your kids because they're going to need you, especially if you're worth anything, especially if you're a man worth anything. And when I say worth, I ain't talking about cash. I'm talking about integrity. Integrity. If you have something to offer your kids, don't squander that. Have those tough conversations. Have those tough conversations with your brother. Let them know. Give them. But listen, When you have these type of conversations, don't just go into the conversation just talking just to be talking, or just land it all on them without a solution. Give solutions. Think of different things. Ask, how can you help? How can you be of assistance? Yeah. Ask, how can you be of assistance? What can I do to help? I don't want to overstep. So where can I jump in to help lighten the load for you in order for you to truly get this thing together? Okay, let them come with Uncle Tony. Yeah, let them come with Uncle Tony for a little bit. You can start off like that. Making sure that you get them on the weekends. Okay, you work on the weekends. I get it. We hard working men. Sometimes you got to work to make ends meet. I get it. Okay, so they can come with me for the time being. When you get off, we'll make some time to go do something. They can chill with my kids for a little while. Yeah, having those tough conversations regardless of how angry you get, but offer solutions as well. Offer solutions. The point of having tough conversations is to get things off your heart that you know doesn't sit well. Things off your heart that you know doesn't really benefit you by any stretch of the imagination, but for whatever the reason, you continue to let it go because you're scared to have those tough conversations. It's more about having emotional intelligence. Understanding how your emotions work, because oftentimes you get those individuals that just get ran over, or you get those individuals, they get ran over for so long. And they just bottle things up for so long that eventually that bottle becomes full and it starts to explode, and then they explode all over everyone, and then the people around them can't quite understand. And that's the crazy part. The same individuals that are doing whatever it is that you feel like is absolutely despised, the same individuals are doing it. If you don't have that tough conversation, sometimes they might not even recognize that they're doing it. That's the crazy part about it. But they continue to do it because you continue to allow them to. Individuals only going to do what you allow them to. You better know that. You better know people only going to do what you allow them to do on whatever level. Having those tough conversations are important. We talking about kids, depending on what level you are. You may have teenage kids. It's time to start having those tough conversations. Sexual. How are their sexual interactions and things of that nature. You got little girls, you got daughters. I know that's tough for a father. Trust me. Better know I know it. It's trustful. It's tough for a father, but in the same sense, if you want to build trust, you want to establish trust, you want to establish some sort of rapport with your kids on that level, you have to have those tough conversations. First question is simply, are you having sex? And they may even lie. But then you offer solutions. Don't just shut it down. You offer solutions, better ways to go about it, how to be protected, what type of men you should be looking for, what type of guys are out there, what quite often what young guys are looking for, what to look for in a young man. Is he an outstanding young man? Is he a man of integrity? What is it that he truly wants from you? Is that all he wants? What is it that you truly want from him? What is it that he has to offer? What is it that you have to offer him? If in fact y'all decide to become sexually active and for whatever reason you aren't responsible and then a baby come about, how do you plan on, what's your next plans? How do you plan on dealing with that? What's school looking like? What's your plans for school? Do you feel as if having a baby and being sexually active could possibly interfere with your plans for school, your plans for your career that you claim that you want? Having those tough conversations and realizing that sometimes they're not going to go absolutely how you wanted the first time around. Because it takes, especially with kids, it's going to take them some time to build up to that. But you have to be relentless in your pursuit of happiness, your pursuit of greatness. And your greatness isn't just your greatness alone. Your greatness is ultimately your family's greatness. Your family's greatness is ultimately your greatness. That's real. But you have to be relentless in that pursuit. You have to be strong in your convictions. Do man shit. Live strong or die weak. Talk to your sons. Talk to your sons. Let them know the responsibility they have. One, they have responsibility as a son to you, their mothers, their families, their responsibilities then. And then as they continue to grow, their responsibilities grow. As they grow, their responsibilities grow, as well as their morals and principles start to change. Build a foundation in which your son can stand on. A platform in which he can stand on, hold his head up with integrity, with conviction Again, I keep saying conviction because that's important. That's important. All too often in times in school, like when you're younger, you get teachers telling you, shh, quiet your voice. You're getting older, your voice carries. You're a man, you're a male, your voice carries. They want to lower your voice. No, you teach them how to, when and where to project this voice. Stop quieting that voice on the inside. Having those tough conversations and let them know it's going to be times when you have to bring it down. It's going to be times when you have to relax. It's a time and a place for everything. But in the same sense, you never allow yourself to be dumbed down, quieted down, and or shunned by any stretch of the imagination. You stand up for what you believe in. Don't just go around here having sex with every little girl just because you feel as if you can. You might be a little handsome young man. And you try to go stick your little dangling in every woman that you come across, every young lady that you come across, and then you end up with consequences that you aren't truly ready and prepared to deal with, and it falls in your parents' lap. Until you're able to take on that responsibility, and then it becomes the time when your dreams and the ambitions that you had got to be put to the side because now you have a responsibility.